Fanatically Correct. Brought to you by us, fans like you, but mostly us.
In a dark corner of the world, three men will work together to bring you a podcast like no other. This is Fanatically Correct, where the fans, the geeks, and the nerds are always correct. With your host, MSK, YoPeace and Omega.
We're back, so fanatically correct. Recording video here? Yeah. I got my video saying my Elmer Fudd horns.
There it is.
It's so funny.
I never forget that episode. So
that's one of the best Looney Tune episodes.
It is. It is so funny. Bugs Bunny drag queen, just like a chick.
The opera singer, the female, like.
And then he kills her. Then he kills him.
Singing. Yeah.
And then he feels bad for killing the rabbit.
The red monster's not in that one, right?
No. That's just them
just Elmer Fudd and
going at it and doing opera.
That's one of the best.
Yeah, it is.
We will not be talking Looney Tunes.
No,
we might talk some Simpsons actually, because of
because
Treehouse of Horrors.
Because of
Treehouse of Horrors. Well, it's
I haven't seen any of the new stuff though.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I just watched. I'll get into that. I just watched one recently, and they did like Westworld, Simpsons World.
Oh Lord.
And they did. I saw one. They did Death Note, and they actually animated. It was pretty cool.
Really?
They did that animate the Death Note, where Lisa gets the death. Instead of Death Note, they call it Death Tomb or Death Tome, something like that.
I think the last of those episodes that I've seen,
the Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah, it had to be early 2000s.
Oh wow! So you saw like the last one you saw was like 17 or 18. They're to like 35 or 36 now.
Yeah, no. I'm saying like I haven't seen anything new. Maybe 2010, maybe.
No, and it's wild because they didn't. I don't remember what season of The Simpsons they started doing that. Like I think that might have been like the 7th or 8th.
Yeah, it must have been early stuff.
Or even later. Yeah, because I think when they started doing that, it was like already
2000s. I think they started in 2000s, like early 2000s.
No, they started in the 90s. I think they started like in the mid 90s. The Treehouse of Horrors is when that started. So, but they came on like in 89, 90. So as I'm saying, it was probably like season 6 or 7 that they started doing the Treehouse of Horrors.
Definitely, I haven't seen any of the new stuff because.
Yeah, I know, and now it's so much easier to access it on Disney.
It is. You know what? Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should just dedicate the whole month to watching nothing but. I mean, they're really short.
We'll review episode by episode.
Yeah, they're really. Oh my God, that's a lot of episodes. Now that I think about it, that's like right now. That's like over 20. Over
1,000 episodes now, right? Like how many episodes are there?
I'm saying it's over 20.
No, not 1,000.
No. I'm saying like over 25 years, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just episodes.
Yeah, and like 20-something episodes a season. How many episodes are like? I don't know. Now we're talking about sideline. It's 13 minutes till the 13th. Friday the 13th is over. Yeah, and we're actually gonna do. I'm your host Omega.
YoPeace.
And this is Fanatically Correct. It's a Yomega episode.
Yomega.
MSK didn't make it out tonight. He's lost in the multiverse with Miss Minutes and Loki fixing branches, so that's good too. Just got into that, but so actually we're gonna do like a Halloween horror ish type episode and talk about some stuff. But on the note of what we open with, which is relevant because we're talking about Simpsons and Treehouse of Horror, where we're getting into. And please remember, nice, simple, easy. I don't even got to give the homework assignment to YoPeace, which is this linktr.e/fancorrect. That'll take you to our website, all our links, social media, our Instagram, our Gmail, all that good stuff. You can link to it right there. So I'm so curious how many episodes. I know it's past at least 500 already.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
It's insane.
That's a lot.
Instant search. Here we go. What's the crazy number? Yeah, started in 1989. 755 episodes.
My goodness.
So I was off by 1,000, but
good for them.
755
Good for
episodes.
them.
and they're on season 36, and I think they just had like so no, they started like season 2 or 3 of
Listen to
doing the
this,
Treehouse of Horrors.
dude. 1990
Was the first
the
one?
first.
So they did season 2.
The Treehouse of Horror.
Was
1990.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, that's insane. Good for them,
Is
but that's
wild.
insane.
So yeah, season 2. They did it in season 2. No, season 3. Yeah, season 3. No, season 2. Okay, because what happened was they had the Christmas special, which was once they broke from the Tracy Ullman show and started that new style of animation that they pretty much have worked with for the most part since then. And then they did season 1 in 1990, and then the latter half of 1990 did season 2, and that included the first Treehouse of Horror. That is wild. So wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of.
That's a lot.
But
it's a good time. It's not scary.
It could be, and they're short. I like, what I like about them, that they're short enough for you to just watch them.
Yeah,
each one
easy ADD consumption. It's usually 3 stories. So in a 22-minute show, you're looking at about like 8 minutes an episode. More or less between. It's almost like Robot Chicken or Love, Death, and Robots, and which is just fantastic. But they were doing it first. They were doing it first. Little
they're
short comedic
pioneers in these. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
And then what I like about that is, so it's not scary. You know what I mean? That's comedy, but it is a good Halloween tradition. So I throw that in there with my guilty. I don't feel like being scared. I just want to laugh and just feel the nostalgia of growing with Halloween in the same category as like Beetlejuice.
Right.
I'm wearing a Beetlejuice hat for audio people. Actually, from Halloween Horror Nights that when I went to one year with
Halloween Horror Nights
with the YoPeaces, which Baby YoPeace,
that was a great house.
Just went to her first. That was a great house when we went. But yeah, Baby YoPeace, 15-year-old, just had her first Halloween Horror Nights experience.
That was a great experience.
And then we're jumping to Exorcist. So we're gonna jump around because it's what we do. But what was the movie scary? Because that's wild. Because you guys went to the haunted house before you saw the movie.
Yeah, and the thing is that the haunted house
did the haunted house have enough information
not anything to do with the movie. It's more of the original Exorcist ish, because they do a lot of Exorcist things. It did have. Now that I look back, it did have some of the things from the new house, but it mainly concentrating on a lot of the Reagan story wise.
So the original, the first
so
Exorcist one.
It was dope. The house was dope. I enjoy Halloween Horror Nights. I enjoy Halloween Horror Nights every single time I go.
What's scary, the house or the movie? For you, I'm gonna bet for the wife and the kiddo that it was the house.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Walking through the house, I almost felt like I'm gonna get possessed. I don't want to be in this house. Now that I'm obviously
I don't think
getting possessed, but like I was walking around, like they had like symbols on the floor, and I was specifically walking around the symbols, just in case.
We're supernatural fans too. We ain't trying to get trapped.
Right. So I was just specifically like, nope. At points, it's funny that you mentioned that, because at points I would do the cross with my fingers at employees as I walked around. I'm pretty sure they hated me.
Makes you want to get those what do they call the Winchester tats that they have.
Yes, I wish I had that already, so I can be protected.
Bones,
so I can be protected already.
Engraved on the actual bones.
Yeah. So I would walk around and I would do crosses on the actual employees there. But now the house was honestly I didn't find the movie the
see, but the movie's one thing. Walking through the house. That's too much
walking
symbolism.
Through the house is
different. With a glass of water under the bed.
All this stuff. Different. When you go through these things, it's a different ballgame. You're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm here now. So.
Yeah. That's
but the movie,
something real might pop off. Even the movies too, man.
Now the movie wasn't bad, man. Like the movie, the new movie, it's called Exorcist Believer.
Yeah.
It's I I like the
Seen
story.
The trailer is
Yeah,
pretty scary.
I like the story, and it's one of those movies that it's not scare tactics, because that those movies don't give you scare tactics. It's more
It's not
about
doing
the
jump scares.
story. No, it
Yeah,
doesn't do that jump scare crap. What it does is, like, it tells you a story,
psychological.
and then it's very, like, you leave the movie like, damn, that's messed up. That's what you leave the
Yeah.
movie saying to yourself. So if you look at it that way, if you're gonna go in there trying to get scared, you're watching the wrong movie. It wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it, man. I'm a big fan of,
Yeah, it's more of a thriller horror, which I think
yeah.
that's what happened with the first movie. Is like it didn't age well in the sense that our generation, that's from our parents' generation, and
Right.
obviously the kids now so desensitized from
Oh, 100%.
Saw and
A
you know
100%.
and all the paranormal ones and what are these, the Red Door and the Nun, and where
The
does that come
Nun,
from? What's the set series? Insidious series. Yeah,
And the
all this stuff. Which there's
Conjuring.
a lot of jump scares.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the scariest movie, actual science experiment that they did was the one with Ethan Hawke with the
Sinister.
Sinister. I believe that they actually did. I mean, a lot has come out since then. Sinister's what, already like 10 years old? No, like
Yeah.
maybe 7. But
Yeah.
regardless, I think that they took all these movies and they actually did a science experiment and hooked up people's heart monitor rates, stuff like that. And the film that had people the most consistently at a high heart rate and then obviously nasty jump scares was Sinister.
Yeah.
Which says a lot. I mean, that's wild. But so that's a newer movie. So when you go back after being somewhat desensitized, and even the psychological stuff like the Babadook and things like that, that really
Babadook.
just
Yeah.
mess with your head. Actually, the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror did if they called it the Poopadook, but they did like a pop. They did like a Bob
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Maggie and Marge. It was pretty funny.
and going back to that, what you were saying about being desensitized, like
Yeah.
my daughter saw Babadook, and I don't think she found it scary.
Yeah.
And me personally, I was going like,
Yeah, exactly.
this
Because
is not.
we come from an era where we dove in more psychologically, and the thing is that it doesn't work. And that's what I'm saying. If you watch the original Exorcist now, it's not really scary, and even
No.
psychologically scary, it doesn't work as much. But when you like get into the nitty gritty, it has moments that are kind of jump scares, but it's more like terror, not horror. What I
Right.
mean by that is there's
Yeah.
scenes that they don't jump scare you. They're just like terrorizing the scene, you know, like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
upside down, and especially because it's a little girl, you know. So I'm
Right,
getting
right,
this
right,
movie
right.
captures in that as well. It's like you're seeing like things that kind of like what I was saying about Gen V before we started talking about this episode. That it's not, you know, it's not a horror show at all, but I'm seeing things like, oh god, I don't want to see that. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
like pretty terrifying in that sense. So it gets you more psychologically than it's a typical jump scare stuff. But that's what I like. Like we, you know, our stuff, like the way back, you know, the back in the day stuff that we watched, it played with both. We were still in that era of the jump scare, the slasher, but there was
Right.
also a lot of the psychological and like,
Right.
you know, scare you story wise and suck you in. You look at all the original stuff of all the slasher movies that became comedic. You know what I mean? Once they started going sequels, but the first Nightmare on Elm Street,
Right.
scare. You know what I mean? The first Friday the 13th, the first Halloween.
Yeah, you think about it, like, even story wise, like the story wise,
Yeah.
that's the problem. Like, those stories, the original stories are those, you're it's scary psychologically. It's
Yeah.
scary. Like, I don't want to go to sleep after this. Like, I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to go camping.
Yeah.
I don't want to go camping.
Oh, and you get into like the Texas Chainsaw Massacres.
Yeah,
and
I don't
those
want to get
movies.
lost in Middle Texas. Like, I don't. It's those things that thinking about it. Like, I don't want to be doing any of those things. It does, and we shouldn't have been watching those
No.
movies at the time
No.
that
Well,
we were
look,
watching them.
it's showing our age. Me as a teenager was the first Scream movie that came out, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. The first one, because even though there's a lot of comedic things in it, Wes Craven did a genius job of calling back to all the
Right.
stuff that
Right.
we shouldn't have been watching when we were kids and that
Right.
our parents watched, and making a game of that and still having like a again, it's another one. It became jokes. Wes Craven, he himself did a Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream 2, Scream 3 is like, and like those like try to be funny on purpose. Like they did that with Hellraiser. The first Hellraiser, forget about it. Then by the third one, Pinhead's telling jokes. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's no need for that. And Freddy Krueger telling jokes, and you know it's like it's not funny. I only give one bit of credit to Halloween, that series. I think it's gone terrible. I try to watch like what they've done, but it's not a joke in the sense that they're trying to be funny. It's a joke that they just like, dude, this is so like, you know,
Yeah.
just sitting there
Yeah.
watching like this is so far fetched already and so silly, and just like everyone's just making the wrong decisions. Like
Right.
the scariest thing is when people are making the right decisions and it still ain't working. That's the stuff that scares you. Not when you watch, and that's what I like. That's like where I give Scream credit for that. It's like, dude, these killers are stupid. You know, they're always tripping on themselves. They're clumsy. And then when you find out who it is, it makes sense. But with these other like these horror like extraterrestrial not necessarily extraterrestrial, but supernatural beings, horror characters, they're just like one, they have one motive, this is they're one track mind, 100%, just point A, get there and demise it. And they're not trying to be funny, and that's the Jasons and the Michael Myers, but they just do other things to make it funny and silly and bad decisions. But then when they took characters that were wicked and made them too funny, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, Chucky, forget him. That's a series. I'm not interested in that show, but apparently people are saying it's really good. The series,
I keep hearing good things about it. The movie, the remake sucked. I couldn't even get through that movie at all.
The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, that was already a while ago though, but that one wasn't.
That one was actually not bad
because they tried to be horrific and great casting.
And you know why? And you know what? And another thing I liked about that one, and it's because they showed you more of what Freddy was already from the get go. Like they didn't try to sugarcoat who he actually is and why that happened to him. So. I like that aspect of it. It took movies for us to actually even realize, like, oh, Freddy is, he's not evil. Just a kid. He's more than evil. Like living, he was evil. So I actually enjoyed that one. Yeah, and like you said, the acting and the actors in that movie was actually pretty dope. Which is this guy.
Rorschach from
Rorschach. Watchmen. Yeah, right. So that guy's raw for that
because he has like the right look and demeanor. Even though the original guy, he's like.
He is who he is.
But I tell you, like we came, and as we'll work our way to the newer stuff, but. Like, so I was saying, like, The Simpsons, Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice, the Casper. These are movies that Addams Family Values. They're not horror. They're those Halloween traditions. I like them. They're fun. Those are ones I'm able to watch with the wife. And then there's, like, the horror traditions. Like, and usually I try to get at least, like, one or two under my belt. And maybe, like, a new one here or there just to, like, break from the monotony. But, yeah, I'm doing the butt-ums a lot. So...
Sorry.
It's late and it's been a while. Yeah. So, yes. And I'm thinking like that in that era when those were coming out when we were kids, we had some wicked shows. And the one that always, and it's mainly, I don't think the episodes were that great, but I was always so scared going into each episode because of that theme song, the opening theme song, which I don't know if you ever saw Tales from the Dark Side.
Yes, actually, that's the one
with the trees.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it shows the forest, and then it changes into like a dark forest, like Tales from the Dark Side. Dude, I would forget Goosebumps and what were the other ones we had when we were kids, where they were like they would tell stories. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark wasn't bad, for a kid, but like. I was staying up late and sneaking and watching Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, you had la cajita. You had la cajita, the illegal cajita. Yeah, there we go.
Had some box action going on there. And dude, Tales from the Dark Side was like, it was so scary. And then we had like the second run of the Twilight Zone. Tales from the Crypt would jump. It would have some real scary episodes. And then the fun.
And then it would have some ones that you were like, oh, come on. Like, I'm not doing this.
It set you up for, it's like every episode opened with the Crypt Keeper, and he's a total joke. Like there's nothing scary about the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
And then it would just do, go into this whole, and then like some episodes were actually legit scary, which the second one, Twilight Zone, did too. But Tales from the Dark Side was, and there was also a Freddy Krueger. There was a Nightmare on Elm Street one for about a season or two.
Really?
They basically used Freddy Krueger as the Crypt Keeper. I'm trying to see. We gotta look. I want to look it up now. But they tried to use Freddy Krueger like as a Crypt Keeper, so he would come out. But the stories didn't have to do with Freddy Krueger.
No,
they were different little horror stories. But like Freddy Krueger was just like the.
It was like
the Elvira. You know what I mean? The Vincent Price.
He was introducing. He was introducing
He was the one introducing the terror in their heart. Let me see. I gotta put it up. It was either Nightmare on Elm Street the series or hold on.
I tell you what, there was one, and I think. There was one, and it came on for one season, and it was, God, God, what's his writer? He did this whole
Was it Monsters? There was one called Monsters.
no. It was one about like different. It was different shows. It came on
Creep
for
Show.
like a week.
Creep Show?
Was it Creep Show?
Or no, there's one. Actually, my mother
came
watches
on-
it.
It came on
I
for a
think it's
week.
like Carnival of Souls or something like that. Or that's
No,
another
no,
one.
I'm talking about dude, I'm drawing a blank now, which is this is ridiculous. This is what happens when you don't when we
You
do
need
our
an
show
extra,
the
an
way
extra Celsius.
so this show creeped me out because it was I think the first episode was, or one of the first episodes I remember was uh not being dead, but being able to see what you in the morgue. You wake up in the morgue and you're not dead, and you can see what they're about to do to you. Right? So while
was an
you're
episode?
there, that's an episode. While
for
you're
sure.
there, you're trying to like wake up. You're trying to like get these people to stop right now. I don't want my body
You're
to
still
be
alive.
open.
That sounds familiar.
And the whole time there's things happening around, like the guy comes and then he leaves and
You
comes
hear
and
everything
he
in
leaves.
his head.
And you hear everything that's happening, and he's terrified. I'm sitting there like,
He's like
is it-
screaming, "No!"
I'm sitting there
in his
like,
head.
I'm sitting there like,
That
is
sounds
this?
super
Can this
familiar.
happen? Can this happen? And I think it was one of these writers, one of these book writers. It must have
Stephen
been one of
King?
their shows.
Stephen King.
I don't know if it was Stephen. It must have been Stephen King, and it was on Channel 7. It must have been
Yeah, it
on
was one of
Channel
those, I checked.
7.
Oh, look, so the Freddy Krueger one was called Freddy's Nightmares.
Freddy's Nightmare. Dude,
Yeah.
I don't
Freddy the
even remember that.
Freddy, the dream serial killer, hosts this anthology of stories set in Springwood.
Mm.
And yeah, and each that's what I'm saying. I'm just curious, that's the cast. But how many episodes was it? 44 episodes. What? It had 2
Okay,
seasons.
that's 2 seasons, bro. More than 2 seasons.
Yeah, there was one episode I remember that like really for some reason creeped me out. It was one about plastic surgery, and it was like two sisters or something, and that one was like really scary because I just had bad dreams. Cabin Fever, Identity Crisis.
I do remember Creep Show.
Yeah,
I do
these are all
remember
Creep Shows. Good. Yeah, actually, those are 2 movies. Those are pretty good too. They had some pretty scary stuff in those. They had the one with the kid with the comic book, like telling the stories.
Nightmares and Dreamscape.
That's another one. Oh, what you call it? Tales from the Dark Side did a movie, just like Twilight Zone did.
Yeah.
Remember the one with John Lithgow and all that, where they redid the William Shatner. Well, that was the first Twilight Zone movie. They've done more since. But the Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, that's what it was. They had a kid was being cooked, like she was like setting up the oven and everything to cook him, and like to buy himself time, he's like telling stories from the from like a horror book he has or whatever. And I don't think it was Creepshow. I'm pretty sure that was Tales from the Dark Side. But what's crazy is in Tales from the Dark Side, there's an episode I always remember now because Gargoyles, and it had this thing with gargoyles.
I'm out.
But
you know why I'm out.
And it's not that Gargoyles.
You know why I'm out.
Because you can't watch
because
that Gargoyles
we
anymore.
have to but you have to talk about this. That house that we did, the Gargoyles house. Do you remember that house?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember on Halloween Horror Nights?
Yes, the Gargoyle house. Yeah, dude. That was
one of the best houses.
That was actually a really good
one
house.
of the best houses.
I wasn't expecting to be good either. That was scary.
That house.
But you know what? That was extra scary for me because of this story from the Tales from the Dark Side movie, where this guy, spoilers, watch it, and pause, go watch it, find it somewhere, and then come back and listen from this point on. But the base story is this guy like saves a woman from being mugged or something like that, and then like she stays the night with, oh no, okay, sorry, it's crazy in that. So he gets saved by a gargoyle in the middle of the night, but then the gargoyle is actually gonna kill him, but he's like begging for his life, whatever. So the gargoyle makes him promise that he'll never ever tell anybody ever about the gargoyle. Like that. Like that's why he kills everyone when they see him, because they don't want nobody to know that they exist. So he has to promise on his life that he'll never, ever, whatever go. So he doesn't. So like the next night, whatever, he meets this woman. Like and
the next night,
yes, the next night he meets this woman. So yeah, exactly. I wouldn't leave my house for a month, or at least like I wouldn't leave my house for a year, dude. It's crazy.
Goodness, what's wrong
So
with this
the
guy?
guy's like an artist or whatever, and he starts like painting them and drawing and like gargoyles. They're not smart, but he's saying not telling anybody about it. But he meets this woman. Yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious where this is going. But seeing it for the first time, I didn't know it was going there. So he meets this woman, and they get together, and they get flashes forward. They have like a couple of kids or whatever, and the thing. And then like he just breaks down one night because she's asking about the artwork and stuff like that, and he tells her about the gargoyle. The woman turns into the gargoyle.
Of course.
And freaking kills him. And like while he's like bleeding out, his kids come out and they're gargoyles now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, dude, they're crazy. And it was like it was like terror. You know, like, again, there were no jump scares, no hard, just like dude, and it was like such a creepy looking gargoyle. Not at all what the gargoyles show that we watched, all cool looking, like the lights are like they're like these
actually helping
long,
people.
Yeah,
actually
monstrous. Exactly. Not I helped you, but now if you tell me I'm gonna have to kill you.
In fact, I'm gonna marry you and see what you do.
Yeah, and have kids by you. Like this is more horrific. Like had gargoyle kids. It's crazy.
The next day, this man goes out.
It was obvious.
Makes a life and messes up his life with
well, he
with
didn't know at the time. But yeah, if he never broke his promise, he would have had. Yeah,
shut up. You would have.
I mean, eventually, one night, one of the kids would have been flying around the room. Like, all right, come on. Like,
I mean. He would have been drunk.
Come on.
One drunk night at a bar, he tells somebody like, "Hey man, hey man."
Dude, the fact that he made it that long, dude. No one's making that long. No one's keeping that promise. No one's gonna tell nobody about it. It's
you know what? For a second, I thought you were gonna say that the next night he goes out and just tells somebody,
about the gargoyle. No.
I was like, this man is an idiot. He deserves everything that happens to him. Every single thing. Oh Lord.
Oh man. But so, yeah, I just think that's just the wild stuff that we had, and like just going to the news. So like with The Exorcist, you saw the new one. First thing, since I haven't seen it, so you're obviously not going to spoil it for people. And you kind of gave a little bit of basics over, and that you did like it and everything like that. So overall, worth watching in a theater horror or more at home horror, or it's like you could take it or leave it.
It's not really a theater movie.
Yeah.
You can watch it in the theater. It's not really a theater movie. Unless you want that big screen and you just want to be, lights out, like darkness and that whole experience of theaters. But you can do it at home. You can do it at home, and it's is it worth it going to the theater? Yeah, I guess if you like paying like, matinee like $6 or whatever. Daytime type.
Look at it this way. So right now is you have the Exorcist movie. There's the Saw. That one's about to come out or came out. Saw
23.
Saw 27. Like, is there more Saws or more Fast and Furious? Wait till they cross over. The Fast and the Saw, or the Saw and the Furious. There we go. Anyway,
so I just want to tell you. I promise you. I just want to let it be known right now. I did not know that there was that many Saws until the other day. How many is there really? I was talking to it's a ridiculous number.
There's more than Final Destinations.
It's a ridiculous number.
Final Destinations also.
It's a ridiculous number, and I was talking to a wife, and she kept going in order, and I was like, wait a minute, why are you telling me that? I think the last Saw I saw was like Saw 3.
And you know what's sad is that because there's that one with Chris Rock too. Isn't that a Saw movie? Spiral or something like that?
Yeah.
Isn't it off the universe of Saw?
The next one is Saw X.
Yeah, that's the one that's coming out or just came out. Yeah, Saw X. So it's Saw 10.
10. There's 10 Saws. Wait, the one with Spiral.
So Saw, Spiral. Saw 2. Saw was the first one, was excellent. Like, and then
it was good.
You know what it is? It's like Final Destination. People got so fixated on the
thing
trap
that's happening.
So it's like Final Destination, like all the different ways to die. They get so fixated on that that then that became the genre, and then it's a joke. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, and it's like it's hard to keep up a good storyline with that. And it's just like shock. It's just shock value, just shocking all you with things opposed to a good story. Because the first Saw film, the way that ends, like total twist at the end of the film, like fantastic.
You don't need to do any more. I promise you, you didn't need to do any more. But
they had to. So Saw 2, Saw 3.
Saw 4.
Saw 4. So no, Saw 3, Saw 3D.
Oh yeah, 3D.
Saw 4, Saw 5, Saw 6.
No, but Saw 3D came
Spiral.
after.
Yeah, it did come after. So wait, is it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4,
5,
5,
6.
6, 7, 8. Oh, Spiral 9.
9.
Oh, sorry, that's a short. That's a short. Jigsaw. So it is 10 total.
Yeah.
That's right. Jigsaw is one of the.
Yeah, it was Jigsaw. That's
right.
what it was. It was the Jigsaw.
Yeah, so there is 10. Yeah, 10. How many
It's-
Final Destinations? I gotta know because I know they did a bunch of those too. And they also did a 3D one.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Like, why are there so many Saws? Like, how? I get it, but like, why?
So Final Destinations has, and
Who's
that was another
watching?
one. First one
Who's
was
watching
great.
This? Who's watching this
So
movie?
Final Destination 2, 3, The Final Destination, which obviously it wasn't.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite names for these things. The Final
and it
Exorcism.
wasn't. Final 5, Final 6. Those should cross over with the Fast and Furious. Circle of Death.
Apparently, that's part of it.
So it's like there's 6, 7. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to say that's 7. No. So they have 6, either 6 or 7. There's too many things. Like there's a lot of shorts and stuff like that people have done.
When you have to ask, let's see, the 6 or 7. That's not a good thing. Yeah. Who's watching this?
And
honestly,
Tony Todd's in those too, right? He's in the first one at least. Yeah, I think the first and the second is like the coroner or whatever. Which Tony Todd. I still have not watched it. You did, yeah. You saw it. I have no interest. I still haven't been able to watch it yet.
Don't watch
it. But at the original Candyman, I still have not watched the original Candyman in so long.
Yeah,
even you and MSK did rewatch some and everything. And I still like, yeah, dude, I can't. I'm so traumatized.
See, but that goes back to that whole psychological thing.
Yeah, it is. It was.
That movie is all psychological. That movie, if you watch that movie for what, like,
there's a couple jump scares in that film, but it's not the jokey punchline setup though.
At all.
It's very it happens, but yeah, it's psychological thriller, and Hellraiser was the other one.
Oh my god, Hellraiser is like one of those that you just like, you're sitting there watching and you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah,
who writes this? First of all, like, that's crazy. That's a crazy, insane thing.
The first one is just and what's crazy is that what makes Hellraiser, that's like the last 15-20 minutes of the movie. Pinhead and all that. That's like the end of the movie. And he wasn't even
again, like. And that's not even Pinhead wasn't even the monster I'm afraid of in that movie.
I'll tell you what's crazy is, and that's what happened. They went after the second one, was like, oh, give us more Pinhead, whatever. That was a horrific thing. But the sad truth is that they're almost like the hero in a sense, because who was the villain was the worshiping, what was her stepdad or uncle or whatever, that took on the form of her dad and actual worshiper. And then by opening the box, they came for him, which actually saved her from him, but she saw, and then she was a fair game too because she opened the box, and that was the whole thing. Like, dude, this is what comes when you open this box. It's freaking crazy. And then, dude, those lines that's like, I'll never forget those. That dialogue, which is your suffering will be legendary even in hell. Dude, that is freaking like this is the scariest thing to be told by this demon guy. I haven't seen. That's a new one too. They did a reboot on Hulu.
Yeah, I did see. I would not watch that.
Yeah,
I would not watch that.
I can't because I don't know if it's worth. See, but it could be like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Because they're gonna do that whole. They're gonna do the same thing what the movies, the other sequels of those movies did, which is like try to give you that whole Pinhead side of it. And it's like you're losing what the movie really is all about, which is the psychological craziness of worshiping and opening that box and having that wife is horrible. That guy's wife was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. For a piece of ass. They're pretty much
insane.
It's crazy. No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, oh man, things, okay, so like, but some remakes, I personally, I don't know about you, I like the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
I don't.
Especially the first one. I
don't, because it too supernatural for me.
Okay.
For his character.
compared to the other Halloweens, or the kid,
Well,
like
because
dies every movie, it keeps coming
well,
back.
Halloween 1 was it for me.
Yeah. See,
And
well, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like the first one of the Rob Zombie, he actually didn't go. He went supernatural in part 2. And did he do a part 3, or they just did 2?
he did.
He did
It was
2. He
short.
did do a part 3. Well,
I think he
just,
did.
I'm not sure. I'll check it out.
Now I don't know. No, now I'm confusing it with the ones that they just
Yeah, the
finished
Jamie Lee
doing.
Curtis, they kept bringing her back, and then they
yeah.
uncannoned a movie where she
Yeah,
died.
yeah.
Like, oh, that movie didn't happen. Like, that's crazy. But with the Rob Zombie, the first one, like the part 2, obviously they went supernatural because the first one ends with her shooting him in the face,
Right.
and then it's the end. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's almost like what Nolan did with the Batman series. Like, it's a little far fetched, but we're not going to supernatural. He's just a really big guy, like big. That guy was huge.
He can take 2 or 3
like,
shots.
exactly, and then he's just really crazy and just like horrific, and then like just very motivated, and they went that route, and then at the end she takes him out, she shoots him in the face. But then part 2 they went supernatural because then he comes back, and that's why I barely remember the second. That's why I wasn't sure if they did a third, because I'm like, oh, okay, now you're basically going back to what the other movies are doing, which is like he is a supernatural, which works to an extent, but it's like, again, it's like you just keep beating the same drum and new things. Like, I'll at least give like the Insidious series stuff. Like, what isn't there a new one of that one coming out right now?
Yeah, there was a new one.
The Nun.
They actually have a new one coming out.
Yeah, that's about to come out.
Yeah, which is, I don't know if it's Insidious or Conjuring. One of those two have a new one coming out soon.
Okay, I gotta know, what are our options? Let's see. Horror movies, anything. Well, I will throw this out there if you want to go easy. I know that Hocus Pocus is on their 30-year anniversary, so that's gotten a re-release in the theaters in time for Halloween.
And
Yeah.
I didn't mind the that remake that they did of Hocus Pocus.
Oh, they didn't do a remake. I mean, the sequel.
The sequel.
Part 2. You know, it's funny
Yeah.
because I'm just to throw this out there. So, for Fanatic Correct, please always check out all of our other previous episodes, obviously, that we want that, and click and share and review and all that good stuff. But also, if you follow us on Instagram and in our social medias, a lot of times myself and YoPeace joins me sometimes, and MSK also joins me. And recently we had 3 of us together at SuperCon for the first time in a while, this past SuperCon. But we do panels at cons, and a lot of times I do stuff with which Sunrise Con is a con that we always do a lot of our panels and Q&As and celebrity stuff. This year coming up will be on March 2nd, 2024. But at the Sunrise Civic Center, I've done stuff, and this is what I'm getting into. We did Hocus Pocus, like almost like the Rocky Horror Picture Show style. So we did like an interactive.
Right.
We did that immediately. After we did that, it comes out that they're making a sequel to Hocus Pocus. We did Beetlejuice interactive. They are making the sequel.
I see where you're going with this.
To Beetlejuice. And check this out. We recently did the Goonies over the summer. And there's a lot of crazy rumors now that there will be a Goonies sequel.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So I don't know what. Again, our phones are tapped or something, but every time we just so happen, literally, like with months later, the algorithm's 100% following us.
At this
point, it starts
happening. You need to do something for us.
Broken.
I think you need to do something for us fans that have been waiting for other sequels that have not come out yet. Like, do one, I don't know, Man of Steel. I don't know, Man of Steel.
I'm gonna do a Man of Steel interactive.
Do a Man of Steel interaction. Let me see, what else can we put in there? Now you got me thinking. Let's see what else we can put in there. Yeah, man.
You know what? That one just came out recently. I think that's on Paramount Plus though. That Pet Cemetery Origins thing.
I haven't seen that. I did see the remake Pet Cemetery.
Is it a remake? Is that what it is?
There was a
remake of the original. Oh yeah.
Of the original one. That one wasn't bad either.
And there's one on Amazon Prime. Is it Amazon or Apple? No, I think it's Amazon. With the actress from Terrifying Tales of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where she is basically Back to the Future but horror. That she time travels, like time machine.
Totally 80s.
No, not totally 80s.
Totally killer 80s.
Yeah, it's totally something like that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll tell you what it is because I recently watched that movie.
Oh, you did? That's funny. Is it any good?
I actually did. You know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. There's one thing that
is it tongue in cheek comedic enough that I could watch it with my wife? Because my wife doesn't like horror at all.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's so
funny.
comedy
It's
that
funny.
okay.
Yeah, it's funny. It's totally killer.
Totally
We
killer.
recently watched that with my daughter and the wifey.
Okay.
They enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I
It
thought it
looks
was
from the trailers. It looks like
it's
pretty interesting.
cheesy. It's cheesy and comedy
Okay.
and not bad. There was one thing that I was like, they could have done something better.
Well,
But
I want to put the theater options out there first, and then we're gonna get into one that apparently we both saw, and it looks like we each have a different opinion. So
yeah,
the Nun 2,
Nun 2.
that's gonna be in the theaters in time for Halloween.
Yeah.
Saw X, The Exorcist
not-
Believer, which you just saw.
yeah,
I don't know what Skinamarink is. Never heard of it. Oh, FNAF. There you
FNAF.
go. Yo,
Speaking of FNAF,
Five Nights at Freddy's.
yeah,
FNAF.
this one's gonna be a little weird for me because my son wants to watch it, but you and I both know who my son is,
yeah.
and
Number one, that's gonna
and
give him nightmares.
yeah,
Number two, your son is so clean cut,
yeah.
and that he does not like vulgarity. Like, even if you beg him
He
to say a
does
curse
not-
word, he won't do it.
He
Like,
does. It's that he won't even play the game.
Yeah.
He'll watch
So then
other
why does he
people
wanna
play the
see it?
game. Listen, he'll watch other people to play
he
the
watches
game,
other people on YouTube.
so
clips
he
of-
doesn't have to play the game. That's who he is, right? So at this point, it's like, should I even let him watch it? Because
You got to see it first without him. You got to see it first.
it's
without
gonna
him.
be scary.
Of course, no, not just that. It's gonna
It's
have
Blumhouse.
Yeah,
first
but
of
it's
all.
exactly that's what I'm saying. It's gonna have some. Oh,
Okay.
Speaking of Blumhouse, is it Blumhouse?
Blumhouse.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and which I don't know if your daughter saw it yet. I know she wanted to, and shout out to Rory Ross out there. We should have an episode. Hopefully, we're gonna do something with him after the whole strike thing's over. But I think we'll have him on before then too. We'll do a Skype episode. But he did a thing for San Diego Comic-Con for what is it? What's it called? It's an Australian one where you what is it? Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
I seen that. What's
With
that?
the hand?
trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
one
saw
that gets
it.
possession.
Yes, I saw it.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you, it's simple. It's not great. It's kind of on the short side, which is actually a good thing, and very predictable. Very predictable. But the concept, again, with the psychological thriller, and again, for our generation, I don't know how baby YoPeace, teen girl YoPeace took
Teen
it.
YoPeace will be in.
Yeah.
She'll be in.
Has she seen it yet? She hasn't seen it yet.
No, she hasn't seen it yet, but
Okay.
she will be in.
What's scary to me is like what it says about society, because we've seen this on YouTube, and this is a true thing about conjuring demons and stuff like that. Is that it's a party, and it's like it's so much worse than a Ouija board, obviously, because it's allowing possession, and it becomes like this like party thing, like these freaking like forget. Okay, look in the mirror, turn the lights off, and say Candyman. Those movies, Bloody Mary. Those are the concept of those movies. But this movie's like, no. As a joke, so we can get cool YouTube videos, and it's like you're gonna allow yourself to be possessed. Like you're straight up doing that as like a party game, and for clicks and for whatever. And of course, it's gonna go horribly wrong.
Yeah. There's always that soul that's not ready to be possessed.
Exactly. So it has an edge to it it's pretty good. It's actually I rather enjoyed it, but that was recent in the theaters, so you can watch it. It should be able for it's available for stream on a few things. Totally Killer. That's the one that's on Hulu.
Yeah. Insidious Red Door, the Red Door, we did go see that.
Okay.
We saw that one. It's in par with all the Insidious movies. It's not bad. The other
apparently
one,
there's some re-releases, like I said, Hocus Pocus, but the original Exorcist has some theaters are showing it. Same thing with Pet Sematary Bloodlines and Totally Killer. They got limited release in certain theaters you can watch as opposed to just stream it if you want to see it in theaters. So it's surprisingly in a long time you actually got a pretty decent selection in theaters of stuff for Halloween.
and it's been a while since that's happened.
Since that's that were this many,
Yeah.
at the same time. And now outside of that, now let's getting into which we talked Totally Killer. There's a lot of stuff streaming now. That's worth
true.
so that Pet Cemetery one, which I said I actually did a drop. I still haven't watched Evil Dead Rise, but that's a
I
good.
have not either, and I'm pretty mad at myself because I am an
Me
Evil
too.
Dead
Yeah, we
fan,
both should have
and
already be all over that.
I love that cheesiness. I love that I
Yeah, but I don't
love
think
those movies.
this one's gonna be cheesy. That's what
Nah, the
I'm making
last
my
Evil
statement.
Dead that they brought out in theaters was still cheesy. It had obviously like it's horror stuff, but it was still
Oh,
cheesy.
listen. Okay, well let's do this one before I bring up this other one that we can talk about because this one's more recent. So on Hulu they have the one. What's it called? No one's gonna save you.
No one's gonna save you. That's the one that we both saw.
Yes. So
Uh,
I saw it recently. I saw it like a few days ago, and
yeah,
I actually saw it with
I
my
did. I
mom.
did as well. I did as
Yeah,
well.
I saw my mom who's a big horror buff. She likes the cheesier the better. She likes like crappy, cheesy horror
Yes,
movies that are just
that's
god
okay.
awful.
That's
Like
okay.
it's like why is this even like why was this even made? But like those type. But she'll watch them all. You know, she likes the good stuff too, of course. So I was like, and she always like, can we watch a horror? Because my stepdad doesn't like watching horror. So like, all right, we'll throw this on because I like the actress. She's in a lot of stuff. She was from first when she was really young. She was on Last Man
Really,
Standing with Tim Allen, but
yeah.
she's done that one with where the two girls are valedictorian or whatever, and they have the party. Sounds like a comedy, but she's done a bunch of Netflix stuff for like some real dramatic roles. Great actress. So I'm like, I'll check this out, and especially because the trailer, like the short one that Hulu showed, it's just like someone's like, okay, it's an alien thing, so something different. You know what I mean? Like a more of an alien horror. You know what I mean? For a
I'm not
change.
gonna lie. That's what actually got me to go see it.
Yeah, okay, yes, there you go. So I was like, oh, something different, an alien horror. It has I think probably we're gonna probably what you're not probably where we differ is probably how it ends, like the ending.
Yeah.
But so spoiler alert, if we spoil, we're gonna try not to intentionally spoil this because most people haven't seen this, an opportunity to see it. I'm gonna go with it's worth watching. Is what I'll say. It's definitely worth watching. There are jump scare moments. I don't feel that they're cheesy. I feel that it almost has the slasher chaser
Yeah.
genre, like the
Hmm.
Michael Myers, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of chasing. And usually the alien abduction are psychological terrors, and it's more about the horrors of already, like, otherwise, you already lost. Like, usually when they do the alien thing, the horror in it is you got abducted, and now look at all this stuff they're doing to you.
Right.
Or they're invading the planet
Earth.
and
Yeah.
Earth, and and usually they go such large scale, like, oh, this one astronomer is now taking
Yeah.
on this entire alien
It's
race
not
before
just a
they
town.
take over. It's not just this one takes the individual story of this one character. Not gonna say why, but she's alienated from the town,
Yeah.
and there's a very specific reason for it. And and then we'll go into a little bit of detail because I think there's things that I understood about the film. And I talked to some of my cousin and explained. It's like, oh yeah, it actually makes more sense. So I don't know, maybe we're on, we can get on the same page when we dive in a little bit deeper. But she's alienated from the town. This alien invasion thing starts to happen, and it's her individual story of being on the run from these aliens. And it gets wild because there's different class of aliens,
Yes.
and it just gets scarier, and a lot of it, it's just pure survival.
It's survival.
She's not. They don't make her like Rambo or anything like that. She's lucky a lot. They
Yeah.
do, which is the
A
usual
lot.
terror, which is usually the last girl. The last girl
Hmm.
syndrome in most horror movies, slasher movies, whatever, is that they're lucky. They get a lot of luck and in their favor because they're obviously being pursued by a much superior specimen of something that has stronger than her or smarter than her and faster than her. Oh man, that tall one with the skinny, the real tall one, that's crazy. We're coming over the house.
That chase sucked. All right.
Dude,
That
that's
chase would have got
crazy.
me.
But I think where most people differ is how it ends.
Yes.
And I think that's where people are like, oh man, what I waste my time with this movie for? Me, I was like, dude, I kind of dig the ending. And for different reasons. So is that what you didn't like about it? Is just the end? Or is there other things about the film?
No, the movie, I think, and I get what they were trying to do. That whole no dialogue thing, I understand what they're trying to do. I see, as a director, I see what they were trying to do. I think at points I was just sitting there going, damn, that's crazy. Oh shit, all this. But at the same time, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, like, first of all, they took too long to tell me the story of what happened to her. That threw me by, like, that was killing me because at some
Yeah,
point
why
you're
did
like,
this town hate her?
just tell me why the town hates her. So at this so I can maybe enjoy what's happening or so may happen to her or whatever it is, which is fucked up, by the way. What happened?
Yeah. So we're gonna go
Fucked up.
we're gonna go into spoilers in a second. So here comes the warning. Actually, I'm gonna plug in my my Surface too, because my battery's starting to get a little low. But yeah, we're gonna have to get into spoilers now. So here's pre-warning. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Oh, why can't I find the plug? Here we go. There we go. And there we go. We're charging. Okay, so we're gonna get into spoilers now. The device, and we'll see how you felt about it. The reason they wait so long to tell us is for the reason why she becomes maybe the only one or one of the few
That's allowed to live.
that's allowed to stay human and stay on the planet. Okay, what it looks like, obviously they're doing like a body snatcher thing. So there's different classes of aliens. There's the real big tall ones. Then there's the main ones, the telekinesis
The
one.
little evil,
The little even like gremlin one. Yeah, exactly.
gremlin.
Yeah,
shit.
and which also has some telekinesis, but
Yeah.
there's the main one, which is the typical aliens we're used to seeing in depictions of them with the big
Of an
eyes,
alien,
tall. Yeah, and they're extremely telekinetic, but they're like they appear to be like the main.
They're the ones that are running the show.
Running everything, exactly. They're the main class aliens. There's the real big ones, like the brute ones, but this particular one is the main one, which is her first go with one of the aliens, and she survives it. And it's cool how
that
it
was
happens.
pretty cool.
That was great.
That was pretty
it's
cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's luck, and she used this thing and just got it right where she needed to get it. But then there's another class of alien. I don't know if you understood that or caught that, but it's the parasite ones, with that ones that take over the body. And really, what it looks like is it's almost symbolism for almost like a rapture, which they did this with that movie with Nicolas Cage, Knowing, where they did like the biblical concept of the end of days and the rapture, but with aliens and all that, and that basically angels were really aliens. And okay, so where it comes with is that when they get down to when they finally get her, so here's a spoiler alert. I already gave it to you. She gets the parasite in her and the ship. So all this other stuff, like I said, the majority of the film is the chase. Once they get her, that's when we find out about what happened, that the town alienated her. And that is, they are judging whether you're worthy to stay alive and keep your body and keep your existence, or you know what? You're a bad person. Here comes the parasite to take over your body and use it better.
So,
and what happened was this: she's actually a good person, and what happened to her was a complete accident. And what most of the people in that town probably got judged for was how they treated her, because no one gave her the benefit of the doubt. Two friends got into a fight, an argument. She had no intention whatsoever to hurt her. She landed on a rock. There was no intention to kill her whatsoever, and she was felt nothing but guilty for it ever since. And then the only person she had after it happened was her mother. And then when her mother passed, she was completely and utterly alone. And she was still, I'm not going to say the word obsessed, because it's more of a negative term, but still completely dedicated to the friendship, writing letters to her every day, basically repenting for something she didn't intentionally do. Yeah. And that's why they showed the memory, because the friend actually fought with her first, but she still took on all this guilt for how the fight ended between them. And at the end of the day, she wasn't innocent. She did not intend in any way to kill her.
She swung that rock.
Yes, but again,
it's not that she didn't intend it. She actually hit her with the rock.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So my thing is, if you're gonna do that, it should have been an accident, a real accident. Yeah. You pushing your friend and your friend landing on a rock. And now you being judged because you kill your friend.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
Not me swinging a goddamn rock at somebody's face and killing them.
Yeah.
Because you're still a bad person. You chose to do that. Yes, you're a kid, but she pushed you. You got up and you swung a rock at her.
Yeah. No,
that's where I was like, nah, man, that's fucked up. Like,
but I think that's what it was going into, is that, like, again, it's the penance that she paid her penance. She paid her debt. But outside of that, she was still very sorry for what she did. Again, the intent was not there to kill her.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was to hit her, you know what I mean? Obviously, and with a rock to, like, even out the odds in the fight or whatever, between them. And it was overly angry at her. But since then, you saw
Her trying to be better.
Exactly, and that's what she did. That's
and
what she
the
did.
town was spitting in her face.
Was not having it.
and
then what
moment.
happens is this, and now that's where it's kind of like, oh, this is like it does teeter and I'm messed up, and that's why I did like it because it's thought provoking. Doesn't mean like I agree with it. I just like I did enjoy it because that's the perspective that they wanted to give in the film. But when it's all said and done, and they're like, she's at the end, she's happy. The rest of the movie, she's miserable.
Yeah.
At the end, she's happy dancing with the body snatched humans that are now aliens or whatever. And it's because, you know what? At the end, she said, screw them. You know, that's really what it is. It became about her survival. When she was judged, and it turned out they're a very benevolent, like, alien race because she killed a bunch of them. A good handful.
She did.
One of each kind. You know what I mean?
She did, yeah.
She killed one of each flavor.
Yeah.
Each flavor of Baskin Robbins she took out. You know, one of the big, which that was the lucky one, the blowing up the car.
Oh my
but
God.
the first one, which that one you figure like, okay, yeah, we can forgive the crazy little gremlin one.
Yeah.
The
because these are not these we don't care.
Yeah, these are the side drones, but man, dude, you took out like
you took out a general.
You took out like a lieutenant. Like you took out a bare minimum lieutenant.
You took somebody
like,
big.
One of the pilots, like that guy had his own ship. Like you don't need like, but was fair. Like, hey, she was trying to survive. We were coming after her, and after they judged, like all is forgiven. Like basically, I said, look, like all right, we were coming after you.
I should watch it by myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I should rewatch it by myself.
Because you were watching it with a lot of.
I see that. I was
mystery science. You were mystery science in 2000 with it.
I was. I really was.
With the family or with
with the family.
Okay. Yeah. At the house. But yeah, so I feel that ending is that, and then what the play on society is, or like the messaging or whatever is, then when they zoom out, it's like they're just taking over the whole world, and it's like, you know what?
It wasn't just
odds are
the whole thing.
Maybe she's not the only one, but it's gonna be a very low number of humans that get left unjudged. Like, nah, you're actually an overall good person, clean. Most people are gonna fail and get body snatched. You know, that it was kind of the concept of the movie, but
I could see that.
It's good, and it has a lot of great moments in it, and I just think that's what happened. And I like when I watched it, because I know my stepdad didn't like, I didn't like that either, but my mom and myself, we were both like, I dug it. Like, you know, do I agree with it? No, but I dug the ending. Like, I like the perspective they gave in the
I didn't like it. I didn't like it too much. Maybe I'll just rewatch it and see if I could see that part of it.
It wasn't predictable, I'll tell you that, because I was like, I really, you know, it was the hope. You know what I mean? Like at some point, like the she's gonna like save. Like I don't know if they were going that route. Like she's gonna save the town, and now they're accept her, or really what I thought was gonna happen once they got him. Like, oh, this is gonna be one of those endings where it's like all hope is lost, and it was for the rest of the world, not for the main character.
Not for the main character.
But there's a lot of movies that go that route. Like they like, oh, so now I'm just watching the demise of the main character. Like that's where we were going with this. Fantastic. You know, like, and you know, unfortunately that is, you know, a trope in a lot of, especially like the Japanese horror, which that was a big thing. Like once I was like out of middle school, which is still a thing that happens, but The Grudge and The Ring and like all these, and that's what they pretty much are. It's like, yeah, there's no happy ending here.
Yeah, you know what?
You're just here along for the ride of someone's demise.
Which speaking of, I feel like a movie you should watch. Mm-hmm. It's and I'm pretty sure you've probably seen it, but you haven't. I think it's Is it Japanese? No, it's a Korean movie. It's a Korean movie. It's called The Wailing. It's on Peacock.
That sounds super familiar.
It's on Peacock.
That sounds super, super familiar.
Let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you. Watch that movie whenever you can. That movie, I enjoy the crap out of that. And that movie, it's one of those. It's about that hope that you that when you were talking about being like, God damn it, like that. That movie left me like that. It's like, well, okay, what's the point of this shit right now? Like, what do I do? Like, sucks.
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's actually pretty dope movie. It's on Peacock or Prime, one of those two. It's in either Prime or Peacock. It's called The Wailing.
The Wailing. I gotta check that one out. There's a newer one too of I think it's a Korean one also. I think it's on Paramount Plus. That it looks pretty wicked. Oh, we both saw. That's one I wanted to bring up was Renfield. Not a horror though.
Renfield, yes.
Renfield's fantastic.
Amazing.
A fantastic movie.
I knew that was gonna be
Fantastic.
amazing.
I love everything about that movie.
I loved it.
Hey,
I
I'm telling you
loved
right
it.
now, man. I think we're on the, which it was funny.
You think he's coming back?
I think we are on the second coming of Nick, a true
You-
second coming of Nicolas Cage.
I knew that you were
not
gonna
just
say
from that
that.
movie, the stuff that's coming, the western that he's
Yeah.
got coming out.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but that old man one looks good too, where it's like almost like a John Wick, but more
Yeah, he looks
humorous.
like he's actually trying now. Like
which
he's
is funny because the one that I thought was gonna do it was the one where he plays himself,
Mm,
and that movie was really disappointing.
that sucks.
I was
That
like,
sucks.
dude, what happened? Nicolas Cage can't
That
even play
sucks.
himself. Like, there's things about it that were good, but overall, I was like, oh, this is like, and Robert Pascal, with everything that with Mandalorian, everything, like he's gonna, and the Last of Us, and he's another big. But it's like there's a lot of great meme moments from that movie, but overall, I was like, this is like I won't watch it again. Like it was like it had its moments, but this is not like a movie I could sit and like really enjoy a second time at all. But I will tell you, a lot of the stuff that's coming out and Renfield.
Renfield was
It
actually
was
really
fantastic.
good, man.
Even though Holt is the main,
No, but his
character in the
acting
movie.
was his
But-
acting. And it's one of those things. Again, it's one of those things that he's not the main character,
Exactly.
and he's shining because
He
he's
had that
not the
hiccup.
main character.
He had that Kick-Ass hiccup when he was in Kick-Ass. That was when he was going through that dry spell, doing just a lot of stream, straight to nothing, IRS
Yeah, I mean,
situation movies.
He could even go straight to
Yeah.
Blockbuster because that didn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So.
Straight to Netflix, and even though that's actually like a dream job now to be straight to Netflix,
Oh.
but yeah, and then as Big Daddy and Kick-Ass, I was like, dude, that was a great
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage performance. He like did a lot from a small part, and this was one of those movies. Renfield, same thing. He did a great version of Dracula, a different, unique version. Full circle from the movie. What was it called though? Kiss of the Vampire, Once Bitten, or whatever the one. I'm a vampire. He's not really a vampire. Once Bitten.
Yeah, I think that's what
I think it's called. Yeah, he like thinks he's a vampire and he's not. That's a great one. But yeah, so no, Renfield is fantastic, man. I enjoy it, but it's not a horror movie. It's got some wild stuff in it though, like wild. Dude, I'm not gonna watch this Winnie the Pooh. Is this really? So this isn't a joke. That's a real thing.
No, it's a real thing. Here's the thing, and you're gonna judge me, but again, it's that cheesiness that gets me. It gets me in my curiosity, like going, like, should I watch this movie and for what it is, or should I skip it altogether and not be part of the group that saw a crappy movie? That's where I'm at. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna watch. It looks stupid.
I don't know.
And it's the reason.
Okay, so this one actually, Dracula, and this was like it's another different version of Dracula and the Vampire, The Last Voyage of the Dementor. That was just in theaters. I think that's not available for streaming.
Who was in that? I don't even think I've heard.
No, believe it, the trailer doesn't look too bad. It's got. I'm trying to see someone you would recognize. Top cast, not by name, and I don't know, but let me see: Javier Botet, Alison Francois, Corey Hawkins. Okay, there's someone in there that looks really familiar. Oh, this guy's in it. You like him? The polka dot from the Suicide Squad. That he's also in.
Yeah,
he's in a lot of stuff.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He's one of the main characters. Yeah. Then this guy Corey Hawkins. Hold on, I know I've seen him in other stuff. He's been in a few things. Straight Outta Compton. Oh, the guy who played Dre and
okay, I already know. Yeah,
who played Dr. Dre and Straight Outta Compton. So yeah, he's the 24. You remember he was in the 24 Legacy?
Yeah, he was the one that you saw.
Yeah, he's also in 6 Underground. Yeah, the only one that I saw.
The only one that you saw.
So he's actually a good actor.
The Last Voyage of the Mentor. You know what? I did remember seeing that trailer. That's the one where they're like back in the
colonial
Christopher
days.
Columbus.
Yeah,
Christopher Columbus days, and they're bringing
let me see what the era is. It'll just be way off. It's like, oh no, it's like a cargo ship from.
No. I think they're bringing it's a sail ship, and they're bringing a
1897. Okay, wait. Based on a single chapter, the captain's log from. This is pretty cool. They made a whole film and story from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Which, you know what, that boat scene was in, and it's a simple short scene. Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman.
This
So yeah,
is
so
what it
based on a
is.
single chapter, I'm gonna watch this. The Captain's Log from Bram Stoker's classic 1897 novel Dracula. The story set aboard the Russian schooner Demeter, which was chartered to carry private cargo, 24 unmarked wooden crates from Carpathia to London. The film will detail the strange events that befell the doomed crew as they attempt to survive the ocean voyage, stalked each night by a terrifying presence on board the ship. When it finally arrived near Woodby Harbor, it was derelict. The outlet's empty. Everyone's dead. There was no trace of the crew. In 1897, in the harbor of Bulgaria, the ship Demeter receives boxes of transfer. So yeah, it's 1897. Yeah, I remember that. That's a scene from Bram Stoker's. That's pretty cool. So it's like, that was a scene. The ship
It's pretty dope.
arrives.
That's
The ship
pretty
arrives.
dope.
Everyone's dead on the ship, and it's Dracula. That's pretty. Which is also a trope that they've used a lot in vampire. What is this?
Yeah, the ship just arriving and everybody dead in
Everyone
it.
already ship. What happened on this ship?
Yeah, what happened on the ship?
Morbius did it.
Yeah,
Morbius
look at
did
that.
it. They stole that. So everybody's looking joking like that fantastic film. Talking about horror. Talk about a horrific film.
Yeah, that's gonna be our recommendation for people.
That's the necessity.
Go watch Morbius.
Rank new scary movies to watch. Oh, let's see what Rotten Tomatoes ranking is of the new best horror movies of 2023 ranked.
Oh, this is gonna suck.
Never heard of Huesera, the Bone Woman. Huesera, dude, what is that? Is that is Pitbull directing? Ya tú sabes, dale.
Yeah,
Huesera. La Huesera.
Dale.
She's gonna eat your bones. Talk to Me got number 2.
Okay,
94%.
I did see Megan.
That was last year though.
I know, but I saw it.
Oh, you finally saw it now. Didn't they do Megan stuff at Halloween Horror Nights? Was it a scare zone or something?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't remember passing.
There's like a YouTube clip.
Maybe people are just dressing up as Megans and walking
that's like
into
a thing now.
this place.
Super common costume. How did you feel about that campiness?
Which one?
Megan.
Megan. First
of all, it's M3gan. Let's start with that.
The beginning was really bad. Trying to just sit there and watch these people acting, it was really hard for me.
I'm gonna tell you something with Megan M3gan, which is the style. And then you can continue. It's that 90s horror camp horror or like horror. You know what I mean? Like, but
it's just a new age Chucky.
Yeah, but exactly. I want to say like Chucky, like the first one that had that, and then there was a lot of movies like Monkey Shines, like the movies that is like like you know what I mean? Like when you watch it, like this is such a gimmicky horror movie, but it works.
I feel like that's what they were going for because I was having a hard time, and the wife was like, just listen, watch it for the cheesiness, because I think that's what they want you to see, is the cheesiness of it.
Yep.
So it wasn't bad. I mean, I would never watch that movie again. I'll tell you
I'm gonna say what's happening right now, just like with music and like video games and everything like that. The style. So before it was just like, oh, let's remake this, let's remake that, let's sequel this, let's sequel that. Now what's happening is that 90s style of film, the style is what's coming back. If you watch, which great movie, Gran Turismo, which true story, it feels like almost like a Cool Runnings movie. It has the coach, it has the uplifting story, but even like the way it's presented, it's like a new 90s version of the new 90s. A new 90s. I just saw recently, luckily through Flint's Arcade, we got to do a premiere one, and I think it's already on Amazon Prime or whatever. Burial with Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones. It's that 90s lawyer movie, you know what I mean? Of the little guy and fighting for the little guy. And it even takes place, because it's based on some true stories, true events. It takes place in the early 90s because like the OJ trial and stuff like that's going on. So it's in the 90s, but the style too is that 90s lawyer, story of the lawyer fighting for the little guy against the big corporation, which I mean still a constant, but that's still that style. And Megan's like that style of the 90s cheesy horror, but like it's being done in a way where it's updated, so it works. Where those other films were more aged, but you watch it now, it's like it has an update. So it's like I recognize all these moments and these tools that these other films use in there. but it's like, and it's crossing all the genres, and I'm noticing that it's like so like we'll see the '90s comedy because that's kind of happening a little bit too. Like I don't know if you saw the Machine, Burt
I
Kreischer
have
on
not,
Netflix.
but that makes sense because he's telling you the story of what happened to
Yeah.
him.
Well, what's fantastic is no, it's he plays himself now, and they
He's going
did
back. He goes
it.
back.
No, there's there's flashbacks, but he has something happening to him now because of what happened then. Like he didn't realize that he did something during that time that has now caused him and his father to get wrangled
The
up by the Russian mob. Yeah,
Machine.
exactly. So there's a whole thing. It's pretty cool. It's a little clever. It's not the best movie. Because like I said, I think that people are these studios and these directors, and obviously this was before the strike and all that, but they're having this scenario where they're trying to see how they can make that work. That was a big time in the movies, and outside of the strike, obviously, thanks to COVID and everything that's happened, it's
Right.
been a bit of a rough patch to really get people fully back into the movies. Barbie took a
Well,
great shot at
I'm gonna tell
Barbie
you,
style.
but I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm.
I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah,
The bottom
undoubtedly.
line is it's horrendously it's too expensive to go to a theater nowadays. You wanna get people back into the theaters? Hey, do something. Make a deal with these theaters and say, hey man, like we'll take 50% of that charge and lower the prices on this food and stuff so people can start coming. You can raise the price little by little later on, but at this point, you want to get people back in there.
Yeah,
Listen, make the prices of food lower. I'm telling you.
everything.
I don't
Of
want to
everything
go to
low.
the theater. Like you go there, you're already paying about $60 just to get into the door with the
No,
tickets.
the greed factor is killing it. There could be there's still plenty of room for lots of money to be made without it
Yeah.
being so
Make
insanely
make a
priced.
better deal with the theaters. You want to get
Yeah,
people back into it, make a
yeah, that's
better
the truth
deal
of
with
it.
the theaters.
In fairness, there's a lot of things, but it's like then you gotta be the product has to be there, and the biggest competition now is stream. Obviously, I can pay for a streaming
And I
channel and
and I
watch at
see
home
why.
unlimited.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these unlimited deals happening in the theaters, but I don't have as much content as I do with a stream.
Hmm.
So example for now, because that's obviously all about to change. But let's just give you an example. If you're on the average paying $12, $13 a stream, a lot of these unlimited movies, like Movie Pass is back. AMC has an unlimited movie thing. Regal has an unlimited movie thing. I don't believe Cinemark does, but I know AMC and Regal for sure do. And then of course Movie Pass is all theaters. But you're still looking at about $25 more or less to get that. And then you do the math is like, is there really at least one movie a week I want to see in the theaters
You don't.
to make that worthwhile?
You don't.
And it's a little rough, and they're trying to, but I don't know if they'll get back in there. So it's like
It won't.
they gotta lower those prices, and
You gotta
then
lower the prices,
yeah,
man. It's an unfortunate thing. Yeah, you're gonna take a hit, but you have to make
it's competition.
that deal, because streaming at home, I promise you, if it comes down to it, I will close all my shades. I
Yeah,
will close my shades, make my house really dark,
yeah.
and I will stay at home. I'm only go to the theaters now, and I pick and choose what I want to go
No,
see. I don't.
especially for horror
I,
and
I can't.
Halloween.
Yeah, I can't go and just be like, oh yeah, I want to go see that movie in the theater. I can't do that every single week.
Yeah,
That's not possible. Those prices don't allow me to do that. So they have to figure it out. And I know the big blockbuster movies that they don't want to. I know streaming it's out of hand. The streaming thing is
yeah,
out of hand right now too, because you're at a point that you're paying pretty much the same price that you will be for cable with all these streaming services, and they
yeah.
need to figure that out too, because that's ridiculous. Like
It's gonna be a lot of hopping around. Is what a lot of people are gonna be doing now. They're gonna do
yeah.
month to months and get their 30-day when they can, and then they switch, do this one
But
for
if
two or
they
three months,
if they
binge
make a
watch, and
deal,
then jump.
yeah, if they make a deal like, hey man, like for the first 3 months, that movie cannot be in a streaming service. It can only be in a thing, and we'll lower the prices, dude. I'm
Yeah,
all in. I am all in, because
yeah.
now I pick
They'll
and
always get
choose.
us.
I pick and choose more movies that I want to go see in the theater. You know?
Uh, let's go over a few things, and then one necessity. Just to break from the horror stuff and the terror stuff. As far as Halloween goes, have you seen the new Haunted Mansion yet?
I did. I actually did.
I just actually today, because Freeform, was doing the constant Halloween stuff, 30 days of Halloween, 31 days of Halloween. Whatever. I saw the other, which I never saw. I never saw it. The other Haunted Mansion, the one with Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
So I finally saw that one.
Oh,
so
finally.
Now, yeah, so I finally saw that one,
what,
which is not bad.
Wait,
which
what
is not
year
bad.
is this?
I was surprised.
What year is this?
Yeah, I know. So I watched the last Haunted Mansion, and not intentionally. Okay. It was just on while doing something else, and I'm watching it. But now I think I want to see the new one, and a lot of people have told me it's worth watching.
It's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's way different than that one with Eddie Murphy.
Is it like Beetlejuice, Hocus? Well, Beetlejuice is not the most kid friendly thing, but I'm sorry, a level of scary. Like, is it like a Casper, Beetlejuice, whatever, or does it actually have some scary stuff in it?
Not scary. It's not scary. It's more like not scary.
Okay, I didn't think so because it's very comedic cast. Owen Wilson and Tiffany Haddish.
It's just very like a funny movie, enjoyable movie for a family to watch. A lot of funny moments, a lot of serious moments too. And they got the house thing pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Like the way they did it is pretty dope. I enjoy it because I've been in the ride, so that's the part that you wanted more see of that, and you get to see that. You get to see all that side of it.
So Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson, she's the main character, or is they like all main characters?
Thank God, amen to that. Amen. Yeah, I don't care if the wifey hears it. I don't care. I'll let her know too. Amen for that.
You watch Ahsoka yet?
She's a main character. Not yet.
Ooh. I know.
I know.
So I'm just gonna go through this Rotten Tomatoes list real quick because actually M3gan made that list. Attachment, never heard of it. M3gan.
Now I'm curious. What did they give M3gan?
M3gan got 93%.
Nope, that's not a 93% worth anything. 93%. That's definitely not 93%.
Talking got 94%.
60s, yes.
I gotta see this. A bone-chilling body horror offers genre fans a twisted take on what to expect when you're expecting. Oh, not watching that.
No.
That's scary. That's the one that got the number 1 on Rotten Tomatoes. So number 4, M3gan, Influencer. That's number 5. Never heard of it. Brooklyn 45. We Can't All Die First.
Oh, I want to see that movie actually. That movie, We Can All Die First, sounds hilarious to me, dude.
Yeah, that has the same genre as but it's obviously not. I think this is actually more serious. It's funny, but not as because it's not the Pujoso. What are the ones that Scary Movie, which is the Pujoso,
Scary Movie,
Scream.
Yeah.
And what was the other ones that he did that wasn't the ones that made fun of Paranormal Activity?
Paranormal. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Those that they did those. Who's Marlon Wayans or whatever did those and
anything Wayne related.
Yeah, of course. The Pujoso comedy.
Yeah.
Exactly with that. So like I think this is a comedy, but like not the full blown Pujoso.
That's funny. That makes so much. That makes sense.
So Sick got 87%. Infinity Pool, which was no, 86%. That was not that good of a movie. Did you see that one?
No, I did not. But if you think about it, look at the list right now, right? Look at the list right now that you're looking at. These are people that are.
And that's Rotten Tomatoes, man.
Yeah, it's Rotten Tomato.
Wrath of Becky. I never heard of it.
No, not doing it.
Evil Dead Rise got 84%.
I'm pretty sure that's more than that, but that's not bad.
This is on Netflix. Actually, I was thinking about this is another vampire one, El Conde, which is a darkly delirious satire rooted in real-life horror. El Conde finds Pablo Larraín revisiting familiar themes without losing the provocative power. El Conde is a dark comedy horror that imagines the parallel universe inspired by the recent history of Chile, where the guy's actually a vampire, the dictator, perpetrator. It's crazy stuff. Annie's Men, Scream 6.
Something?
That's with Jenna Ortega.
Oh, we did see that.
I kind of want to see that.
I'm mad about that movie.
Really?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you. Oh,
spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Go ahead, tell me. I don't care. Ruin it for me.
It's just that. Ruin it for me. It's stupid.
What I liked in the trailer is like the guy's more tactical. Like instead of being a total clumsy, like whatever, the guy's actually like geared up. Like he's actually like trained and like Kevlar.
It's stupid because that would not like. There's things that happen in that movie that you're like, stop it. Stop it
that's
right
all.
now. This shit would
They
never
all
happen.
become Fast and the Furious by the
No,
third
dude,
one.
it's no. Don't. I mean, watch it. Well, honestly, watch it if you want to, like, so you can see what I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to spoil it for everybody else, but I'm telling you, just watch it. It's. Nope.
So, okay. Wow, that's actually because they're a horror movie. I did see A Haunting in Venice. It is.
A Haunted in Venice.
Yeah, so it's a part 3. It's the third one
Yes.
of the detective
Yes.
film. So the first one is Murder in the Orient Express. The second one is, what is it? Death on the Nile.
Mhm.
And then this one, A Haunting in
Which
Venice.
that one was a little meh.
Yeah, this one, it was better than Death on the Nile.
Okay.
Had a better overall story. And it was interesting how it was different in the sense that it's filmed in a horror style. It's told in but there's a reason for it, and it is, of course. And I don't want to ruin this at all for anybody, because it's a detective movie. It's very figure out the clues and everything like that. And love those. I love the Glass Onion ones. Like I need to go back and watch Clue. I've been dying to go back and watch Clue. Tim Curry's a genius in that. But that style of film, but it's a more of a horror whodunit. Mm-hmm. And there's a supernatural element to it as well. And then it plays out the way it plays out. Awesome. So it is interesting, and it's explained. Explained mostly, and it kind of leaves that room for doubt.
That's cool. That's cool.
So it's
like that.
Different, but I wouldn't really call it like a. I guess it is because the ride is horror, but when
maybe the way it was filmed, it's the horror aspect of it.
Yeah, it's a whodunit. It becomes a horror, and then it's a whodunit. So I very much will compare it to Glass Onion. Not Glass Onion. Sorry, the first one, Knives Out. Knives Out was, it's a whodunit. Like, oh no, it's not a whodunit. It's this poor person's being framed, and then it's oh no, wait a minute, it is a whodunit. Not being framed is like, can she get away with an innocent thing that happened? And then it was like, well, no, wait a minute, it is a whodunit. Like that's what's cool about it. Like it makes you think it's one thing, then you go for the ride, and then it ends up being midway. So it's kind of the same thing. It starts as a whodunit. It turns into a horror, supernatural, and then it ends as a whodunit.
That's cool,
but still with some doubt. It's clever, but I don't know. So I guess it doesn't feel very Halloweeny, but I guess you can, because most, like 80% of the film is gonna.
I did see the Pope's Exorcist.
That's one with Russell Crowe. It's on Netflix
Russell
now.
Crowe.
Any good?
It's good. Russell Crowe, man. Like sometimes I just wish like he can do an accent. Can you do? He's he tries in this one, because he's supposed to be like Italian or whatever it is. Like he's in Rome. Like like you work for the Vatican.
He's Australian.
And like sometimes he's got it, he doesn't got it. He sounds kind of Russian sometimes. He's like, come on, man. Like, but it's not bad. The movie touched on some things that was pretty dope. If you like knowing history, I like the concept that they did on how they wrote it. I like the writing of it, of why something happens, and back in history, why something ended up happening for exorcism. That's pretty dope. But it gets to a point that it's way too much CGI used, and I'm sitting there like, this is supposed to be a exorcist movie. This is way too much fantasy for this type of movie. But other than that, it wasn't a bad movie. Yeah, it's a good watch to be at home.
I'll give it a run. I mean, it's on Netflix, so might as well. They got a bunch of stuff here. I think we'll wrap it up. And give a Nerdcessity. I didn't realize we got on this long.
Shoot.
So
Nerdcessity.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I know, because I was gonna say No One Will Save You, but because I think that's a good, interesting watch for anyone who doesn't feel fully spoiled.
Yeah, I mean,
but we started out talking about like the stuff we kind of throw the throwback stuff. That's good on the innocent. Oh, I will say, Disney Plus also has Goosebumps. I do have
Goosebumps.
I do kind of want to catch that, but I don't know if it's worthy enough. I want to go with something that's traditional, but it's wild because even Wednesday's worth watching during Halloween, because I love watching Addams Family and Addams Family Values.
Yeah, we usually watch, like obviously like your
Hocus Pocus, Casper,
Hocus Pocus,
Addams Family.
Yeah,
What's all the other the Great Pumpkin?
Even the Nightmare Before
No,
Christmas, because that's still, it's got that Tim
I
Burton,
so wanted. Yeah,
feel to it.
I so wanted to, like, I was like, because now that the Halloween tree is a thing, has been happening. So yeah, people are doing Halloween trees. So I was saying, if you do a Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween tree, then you just leave it till like January.
I just want to let you know that
You guys got one.
it's been happening in my house for a
The
couple of
YoPeace.
years now.
Of course it has.
It's not a new thing. It's been happening here for a while.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. Is it a Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween tree?
It's a Halloween tree. It's not
You
Nightmare
do Nightmare Before Christmas, and you just leave it through Christmas.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that
Themed all the way
tree,
through.
we have 2 trees. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but we have 2 trees, and
All right, 1%er with your 2 trees.
and one is smaller than the other, and the other one, because it's actually a better tree for
how you like
Christmas.
how you like, obviously it's not true, but it does work out. Maybe it is true. Is you seen that, the story, the Frankenweenie, the corpse bride,
Frankenweenie.
Nightmare Before Christmas?
Let me tell you, that theory is pretty
that
dope.
crazy lines up.
That theory is pretty
Crazy
dope.
lines up.
If you guys haven't heard about it, look it up.
Different stages of the life, because the Frankenweenie is the corpse bride. Well, so Frankenweenie's the kid, and his dog that he brings back, like Frankenstein style. Victor. Then in the next stage of his life is the corpse bride. And the dog is the skeleton. So it's like in between worlds, like skeleton. And then in the future, he is Jack Skeleton.
Yeah.
And the dog is the ghost of the dog.
Ghost.
So it really
lines up. It
does line up. And I think that it's not specifically that, but I think it is for Tim Burton. I think it did line up. He's like, I'm gonna make them different characters, different movies, but overall, it's like I wanted to tell a story,
I wouldn't doubt it,
of this type of character as a kid, and then this type of character as a grown man getting married, and then this type of character in the after the World War. But it's the order is out, because I think first was Nightmare Before Christmas, then was Frankenweenie, and then is Corpse Bride, in the order that they're made.
But
that's like very Tarantino-ish.
You can say that exactly. You can say that you're seeing the life going
backwards
in reverse. The life going in reverse.
So that's a good one.
That's a cool little concept.
There's the necessities. If you haven't watched those, you know what? I like that. Worded perfectly. Watch Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Frankenweenie and Corpse Bride. And maybe, to really play with it, watch it in what would be the chronological order, which would be Frankenweenie, Corpse Bride,
and Nightmare Before Christmas. That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
I like that you threw that out there. I'll tell you now, I think I'm going to try to go back and watch some episodes of Tales from the Dark Side. I wonder if that's available.
Look at that. I'm gonna definitely try to watch the House of Terrors of
Simpsons. You know what? I did watch.
Point, I
just watched one the other day. They did like a Westworld one. I love the ending of that one, actually. Of how he just blended into the YoPeace symbol. But I did like how they the end of the Westworld episode. But the Death Tome one was pretty cool. But there's a bunch. There's at least like 8 Tree Houses of Horrors I have not seen. So, but I almost want to go back and rewatch them all from the beginning and see if I can. 30 something. Oh wow, no, I'd have to watch at least 2 or 3. At this point, no, I have to watch like 4 or 5 to catch up before Halloween.
I wonder if they have it broken down on the app of just House of Terrors.
Yeah, they do on Disney Plus. They have it set up. You can just go I believe so.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
Just
jump straight to House. Yeah, come on, Halloween. They got that. It's genius. That's the thing about Stream now, man. It makes everything so much easier. But yeah, so we'll be back at some point with MSK. We got to update our Nolan list to see if Oppenheimer affected any of our lists.
Yeah.
We got to do a Scorsese thing because that's about to drop. Like I said, the Killers.
Moon.
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oof, that looks so.
Yeah, it looks like he's making up for The Irishman. So yes, I said that. Which, and I'm gonna say that because I'm the only one. Exactly.
So I don't care.
I'm the only host of Fanatic Correct who has suffered through that. MSK and YoPeace have not suffered through The Irishman, and I feel that MSK they should have to before they watch this one.
Did MSK not suffer through that? I thought he saw it.
No, he didn't. He did not.
Really?
He tried to.
For
He
sure, I
tried
didn't
to.
do
I
it.
think he hasn't gotten past the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And I
for
think that
sure.
he's tried 3 times, and all 3 times he didn't get past, and then he just gave up.
Maybe I would do whatever it was recommended, which is like break it
Yeah, you
down
gotta
into
break
2
into a
movies.
series. Yeah.
Into series, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
there's a lot of issues with that movie. A lot of issues, and I think that it was just not the right. I don't think it was the right fit.
It happens. It
Actor
happens.
wise, it happens. I
happens.
think it's by far Scorsese's worst film.
Yeah.
By far, because pretty
That's-
much all his
that's
other
tough.
movies are good movies. Like all his other, there's not a single Scorsese movie other outside of The Irishman. And I sat through it, and again, because it's Scorsese, there's a lot of great moments. It's almost like saying Hateful Eight with Tarantino. You know what I mean? It's like overall, like rough movie to watch, but there's still some great Tarantino moments.
Right,
So it's
right.
worth watching once. So I will still say that it's still worth watching The Irishman once if you can muscle through it. I think doing it that way in different parts is great, but there's some great moments in it that I think just would have been a lot better if they weren't doing the de-aging and they would have just casted actors to play young and actors to play older, or to have casted younger actors and then aged them, to look older with makeup or whatever. Like it would usually do what Scorsese would normally have done.
Right.
So I just think that a lot of that play didn't work out for him. But this looks like he's gun ho.
Yeah,
on
this looks
on
really
point. And DiCaprio is a fantastic actor, and I think this is physically the worst, and obviously it's intentional for the character, that physically this is like the least appealing that Leonardo DiCaprio has
perfect.
made himself. You know what I mean? For a film. So
he did
that.
this. He kind of did the same thing in
the Revenant.
The Revenant
with the bear.
He kind of was.
But he still had that.
Oh, he's looking rough. He looks like he belongs in that era.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, but this one's more of the retiree. He was a soldier, but now he's got married, had some kids, put on some weight. But still a tough guy, but just not where the Revenant. He's still in frontier shape. You know what I mean? And so even then, like I was saying, by far this is like the more retiree, because usually even the other movies where he's played the more middle-aged guy part, whatever, he's always been in more of a physical shape, but this one he's taken on the role, taking on the character.
It's pretty dope. I saw a trailer today actually.
It looks good. It looks 3 hours and 27 minutes though.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Listen, I've done a lot of.
I'm wearing a diaper and I'm getting a big gulp.
Let's do it. I've done a lot of Lord of the Rings and
well, the thing is, I already know
I'm gonna style movies.
Yeah, I already know. That's the beauty of stream now. It's like it's so much. Like before, back in the days, like if I saw a movie in the theater, like he's talking about back in the day, and we got to wrap this up. But like you knew, it was like, okay, if I paid $7, talk about back in the day, $7 to watch a movie in the theater, there's no way I'm paying another $4 to rent it at Blockbuster. And by the time it's on HBO or whatever other channels it might be available, it's like I'm not gonna care anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like so I cannot get up and go to the bathroom during this movie. Now it's like, dude, if I got it, bro, I have no problem. I will get up. I'll go to the bathroom. I'm gonna watch it in a couple of months on stream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Yeah. So for whatever I missed, I'll watch again in a few months.
You know what's cool about that, and I know we're gonna wrap it up. What's cool about that is that I appreciate a 3 hour and 20-minute movie.
Yes.
Because I hated back then paying for a movie and within an hour and 20 minutes you were out of the damn movie. And it was like no storytelling. It was just a bunch of nonsense. And I couldn't justify going to the theaters back then with those prices because of that. So I appreciate movies like that because they're gonna keep me there watching it, and I'm gonna sit there like Nolan. Nolan does that. He gives you like that 2 hour and whatever minutes because you know what? I want to sit through that. I want to go and see that movie and sit through that. So yeah, I will watch that movie.
I'm gonna tell you right now. For me personally, and just we'll finish on that note with Nolan because that was the episode before this one, depending on when it gets released. And when we drop it, but for the most part, the episode before this should have been our Christopher Nolan episode, which we revisit because we've all seen Oppenheimer. So we'll give a great critique and review of Oppenheimer and how if it did or didn't affect our individual list of our top threes, or if those changed gradually on their own. Because for me, that kind of list always changes. But I can't think personally because even Spielberg, I don't love everything. For me, Nolan's probably my best director because there's not a Nolan movie I don't like. And don't get me wrong, I know people who don't like all of Nolan's movies and will say like, nah, that was alright. So they'll kind of put him in the same category that I've now put Scorsese because of The Irishman, or Tarantino because of Hateful Eight, and even then, like I said, there's still movies worth watching, but like Nolan's like, dude, every movie makes it so hard. Like I literally like I can't wait to revisit that because I'm like, I'm like, Oppenheimer for me definitely made top 5. I'm like, but did it affect my top 3? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard because if you go back and watch all those movies, at least for me, like, you know, the ones we talked about, I'm like, every time I watch a Nolan movie, I'm like, this is the best movie ever. And I'm like, but wait a minute, you know, like, how can I feel that way? Yeah, it's like, well, how can I feel this way about Interstellar? I felt that way about Inception. And I felt that way, like, and Tenet I've seen a million times, but it's
so good.
He's incredible director. Good. But yeah, so, and that's what I'm saying. For so far, everything's hits. Who knows? Will he make his Irishman? You know, his Hateful Eight. I'm trying to think specifically of a Spielberg one. Usually, the Spielberg ones that aren't that good is because he was with someone else. You know what I mean? It's not like an all-out, you know, a Spielberg film. So I got to go over. We have to do a Spielberg one too. I think we'll do like each director. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'm down for that. So
you got your necessity, which was do the Tim Burton. I will tell you, as a nice side note thing, I love 9. Is it 9? Right? That's a Tim Burton one. The animated one. That's a fantastic.
We also saw Coraline the other day too.
Caroline, that's right. That's another good one. That's Tim Burton also.
I'm not sure, but
it's very familiar. It's very eerie. Yeah, but it's not Tim Burton. It's very similar style. So yeah, so everybody out there, by the time you hear this, hopefully Halloween hasn't passed. Happy Halloween! And again, at FanCor at all of our at Linktree, at Instagram.
I added, by the way, the link for the collectible, the comics collectibles.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Cafecito.
So comics, collectibles, and Cafecitos. So check that out too. It's gonna be in our phonetically correct content. So it's something I'm doing with Ram Fam, but it's a phonetically correct presentation. So the audio, like for podcasts, so you can hear the audio versions of that, we're going to have that with phonetically correct. It won't be a phonetically correct episode, but hopefully I can get YoPeace on an episode next time he's down. Eventually MSK in an episode, and we'll do stuff like that. We'll probably do a Skype one, maybe have Anthony on or something like that. But yeah, just some more content. We're going to, try to bring more content to phonetically correct and
appreciate
other ways.
It, bro. Appreciate everything you're doing, man. Seriously.
I appreciate it. So yeah, and I got other things. I'm gonna do some stuff with Marcos, with my barber. I'm gonna start doing some stuff with that. We're gonna like review.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm honestly,
he's gonna cut my hair. So this will be fun.
That.
I'll end on this. He's gonna cut my hair, right? And we're gonna like live, most likely Instagram live story. But then we'll probably drop the videos, onto YouTube or whatever, and keep it afterwards. So we're gonna put something on the flat screen, and we're gonna react to it while, so others talk about it while he's cutting my hair, but like live watch stuff. So we're gonna probably do some, like, I think we were talking about doing like barbershop stuff, like scenes from scenes with barbershops. Like Tombstone has a great barbershop scene with Doc Holliday and something to that. But yeah, we'll probably pick a show and then just like binge it through episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. So for my next like 10 to 15 haircuts, of a show or a series.
That's dope.
Maybe do Misfits.
Ooh.
I got to get you on Misfits because I was talking. That's a new homework assignment I have for Anthony, for Mr. Ram Fam himself. After we finish Spawn,
I'm dying to rewatch it. The wifey and I.
I've watched it. I've watched it all the way through twice. I'm due for a third. I think you've already done it 3 times. I think you've done it 3 times. So
I'm telling you,
we might do something like that because of the boys and Gen V.
I'm itching.
Got us the original one. Fantastic. But yeah, so thank you for joining us. And as usual, so Omega saying peace.
YoPeace. Peters.
And there you have it, folks. This has been Phonetically Correct. Until next time, you crazy kids. Signing off.